Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our workshop, Leveraging Emerging Technologies Innovation in Operations and Maintenance and Facilities Management using the EarlyBirds platform. My name is Sulaiman Barada. I'm a digital transformation strategist, and I'm the head of the Ecosystem Digital Transformation Unit at the Union of Arab Banks. I'll be introducing my fellow speakers in just a while. This workshop will provide practical guidance on sourcing emerging technologies innovations into the operations and maintenance, as well as the facilities management activity of an organization, regardless its industry. So we all know that emerging technologies have been emerging for a while, and they've been really applied in various industries to various extents. And we're happy that we're taking this workshop at OmainTech to bring to the OmainTech audience the best advice with regards to how emerging technologies can apply to the operational maintenance business activities of an organization. We all know that the tech paradigm has been accelerating for several years already. At unprecedented pace, really. So every year we've been hearing and seeing emerging tech, taking markets by storm, and therefore affecting ways of working, affecting business models, and so forth, and creating new opportunities, disrupting several industries, and also contributing to the macro and the micro economies of countries and the globe as well. Before we dive deeply into the emerging technologies, we probably need to make a clear differentiation between emerging technologies and conventional technologies by definition. So we've all worked and known and experienced conventional technologies in our work environments and in our organizations, be it in industries, plants, logistics, and back office, everywhere. We've been working with conventional technologies for several decades already, and they have been helping us in various ways to be more efficient and productive. So conventional technologies are normally deployed to automate and optimize the current business models of our organization. Whereas the emerging technologies, and let me give a few examples like artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, big data, and the like, they are there to be deployed not only to optimize and help us with our current business models as we used to do business ever since we started in our organizations, but rather to help us create new business models within organizations, and those business models that never existed before. So, like for instance, in transportation, we're doing the Uber business model. We refer to it as the Uber business model of transportation. But that same breakthrough that happened on the transportation of individuals can still happen in many other industries. And we will be quoting a lot of these use cases throughout the workshop. So emerging technologies are there to be deployed to create new business models and that never existed before, thereby leading to the establishment of new value streams as well as new ways of working, not the conventional ways of working, not the conventional value streams. A few examples of how emerging technologies have affected other industries and business activities are very evident, really, in a lot of the hypes that I'm sure that everybody of you has already been witnessing in their countries and their markets. So a few examples really of those breakthrough innovations that happened in other industries are around fintech in the financial services sector, insurtech in the insurance sector, health tech in the health sector, and the telemedicine and everything that's happening around it, GovTech and how governments have been moving and changing and innovating business models. That's way beyond just a digital, an electronic government. So it started in the past with e-governments, with conventional technologies, but it has now moved to a higher level with GovTech, by creating new business models for governments. And the list really goes on. And OmainTech, which is the tech for operations and maintenance, shall also rise. And that's why we're having this, we're delivering this workshop. Operations and maintenance and facilities management are business areas that have been, enjoying stability for decades already. But stability with a lot of innovation that have been happening within the space of O&M and FM, but primarily within certain aspects of that space. And to be more specific, we have been witnessing a lot of developments and innovation around standards, best practices, and engineering innovations. So certainly, the space of operations and maintenance and facilities management have been witnessing a lot of advancement on engineering innovations, on how O&M and FM can be done more efficiently with innovative engineering. And with the help of emerging technologies now, O&M and FM can actually, on one hand, we can do on one hand more and more cost and time efficiently with less resources. And on the other hand, we can generate more value. By value, I mean profit, reliability of assets and facilities, and savings. For the O&M community, that has just become possible with emerging technologies. So with AI, we can definitely do much more than without. With IoT, we can do much more, especially with the built environment. The emerging technologies are offering us the opportunity to leverage, to try and retrofit really smart aspects into the built environment, into the built industries, into the built plants and facilities and cities and so forth. So that's the arising opportunity from emerging technologies. We're lucky that we are presenting this topic and speaking about this topic at OmainTech, and it has been, it has come out of a conversation with the Arab Council of Operations and Maintenance that have decided to really, in partnership with the EarlyBirds platform, the leading tech innovator, the leading tech innovation sourcing online platform, with the intention to lead a global OmainTech movement, as well as an ecosystem-wide initiative within the Arab countries and the member states of the OmainTech ecosystem around leveraging emerging technologies. Similar to other industries, the success of OmainTech, the tech paradigm around operation and maintenance, would require the collaboration of two communities. So in order for this to really materialize and be of benefit to the operation and maintenance industry, it requires the collaboration of two communities: the tech innovators, representing the supply side of innovations, and the O&M organizations or divisions within bigger organizations, representing the demand side of tech innovations. And the EarlyBirds platform is brought in to actually do that orchestration, exactly that orchestration between the supply side and the demand side, and to create a sustainable innovation dynamics within the ecosystem. We're both early adopters, O&M community, and tech innovators can work hand in hand for the best interest of the O&M industry and the practices within that industry. Moving next, I'll be introducing my fellow speakers in the workshop. Each of the speakers will definitely take you through various aspects of the value proposition of OmainTech within the space of O&M and FM. And we will be quoting several use cases from their experiences. So I have introduced myself already. My fellow speakers, Joe Corvetti, Senior Energy Advisor and Board of Advisor at EarlyBirds. Suran Thuraraj, Subject Matter Expert at EarlyBirds. Jeff Penrose, Co-Founder at EarlyBirds, and Chris Poria, Co-Founder at EarlyBirds. Jeff, the floor is yours to take it from here, and good luck with that.
Thank you very much, Solomon, for the introduction. So what I'd like to start our side of the presentation with is talking at a very high level about identifying the challenges and how you can resolve the challenges in this sector and resolve them with innovative technology. This diagram here is quite a comprehensive overview of the operations and maintenance and facilities management sector. It's actually taken from an excellent white paper produced by the Industrial Internet Consortium. I'd recommend to you to read it. It's quite a compelling and very relevant document. So the diagram here talks about the mounting challenges on one side and better outcomes on the right side at the top. And Solomon's touched on some of these already in his opening remarks around the high process efficiencies and mounting market pressures and so on with the particular challenges and how you achieve the better outcomes with new business models and working in partnership and developing new operating models and new service models. This is all underpinned by some really significant factors illustrated in the bottom half of the diagram around the business factors that Solomon touched on and the technology factors. And this is where EarlyBirds enters to help you resolve some of these challenges, because the amount of innovative solutions and technologies that are out there are quite staggering. And we'll go through some of these solutions with the case studies that Joe and Suren will touch on, but we'll also provide some advice on how you can actually locate and find the right technologies to solve the types of business challenges that you're looking at resolving, and similarly what type of business outcomes you're looking at achieving. And the trustworthy factors in the last pillar there are also incredibly relevant to what needs to be achieved around security, privacy, resilience and reliability. And these are some of the things that we touch on and get into when we're using EarlyBirds platform and our processes to identify the right technologies to resolve the business challenges that you have. So the next slide that I would like to cover, thank you, is the OmainTech vision and mission, and how we at EarlyBirds can work with you to achieve these particular aspects of the vision and mission statement. In particular, the exchange of expertise and knowledge and know-how between the supply and demand side that Suren spoke about, that Solomon spoke about, in terms of the solution providers and the innovators and the early adopters. It's very important that there is that two-way flow of knowledge between both sides. One, to describe what the problem is, and secondly, to understand what the technology that can come from an innovator to resolve that problem. And also you need an opportunity to evaluate new and disruptive solutions. From our big data pool, we can actually identify, and we'll show you examples of how we do this shortly. And also aid in the knowledge transfer between countries. This is incredibly important. Some countries are more advanced than others, and other countries may need assistance, and they can collaborate to assist one another in solving problems and bringing industries up to the level required. Then also assist in the implementation, evaluation of relevant concepts and practices in operations and management, because a lot of the innovators on our platform provide capabilities to achieve that. Also, sharing use cases of success and best practice is absolutely critical, particularly when you're looking at new innovations or disruptive technology. What are the use cases? Where has it been successful in other industries? And what's the best practice when you're actually deploying a technology? Is there an ecosystem available to transfer the knowledge so you can achieve best practice in your organization? And then also enhance communication between the innovators and early adopters within a region and internationally. This is a key part of our platform, and a key part of our business model is to improve the communication between both sides of the innovators and early adopters, locally and internationally, because the EarlyBirds platform is very much a global platform to achieve that. So thank you, Chris. That was my quick overview and introduction to EarlyBirds and what we would like to achieve during this session. We'd now like to play a video to outline how the EarlyBirds platform works and why it's relevant to OmainTech.
The Arab Council of Operations and Maintenance, or OmainTech, and EarlyBirds Marketplace have agreed to bring actionable innovation to operations and maintenance innovation sector. The EarlyBirds Marketplace business-to-business platform connects tech innovators with early adopters to solve business problems. The platform will play a core role in assisting OmainTech member organizations to achieve the goal of world-class innovation with a fully transformed operations and maintenance and facilities management industry across each of the member states. The goal of EarlyBirds Marketplace is engaging society in actionable innovation through a proactive open ecosystem of tech innovators and early adopter leaders. Together with OmainTech and our team of SME experts, we support a fail fast, learn faster approach to innovation and through enhanced collaboration by doing the right things between innovators, early adopters, and your advisors. The journey to make effective use of the EarlyBirds Marketplace begins with each of the operation and maintenance organizations registering on the marketplace to either start exploring various innovations or start listing O&M business challenges. You can choose a preferred subscription to meet your needs. As a strategic partner, EarlyBirds will support and enable the initiatives and activities of OmainTech through its various programs to create an interactive global innovation ecosystem connecting tech innovators with OmainTech members, facilitate a culture of collaboration through an open ecosystem and crowdsourcing across OmainTech members and globally, and enable global partnerships with tech innovators that benefit all OmainTech members. Follow these 3 easy steps. Step 1, sign up on earlybirds.io as a member of OmainTech. Step 2, choose a preferred subscription option. And step 3, start leveraging actionable tech innovations for O&M and facilities management. The Arab Council.
Okay, I'll hand over to Suren.
Thanks, Chris. I'd like to introduce myself and Joe, who are going to be talking today about cases of current emerging innovations in the O&M and FM area. I've been in the oil and gas operations and maintenance and greenfields and brownfields project delivery area for more than 25 years, and have lots of experience in consulting and innovative project delivery. I've held commercial and technical roles in large global organizations in Australia and the United States. I'm currently pursuing a passion for energy transition, and we'll talk about that later as well. There is a massive move from fossil fuels to green energy, and I'm passionate about that. I'm working in that area in advisory role. I'll hand over to Joe. Joe, you can introduce yourself and continue with the early slides as well.
Thanks, Suren, and thanks, gentlemen. Hello, welcome. I'm happy to be here. My name is Joe Corvetti. I've worked broadly across the energy sector for well over 25 years now. Worked with some very large and innovative service companies, as well as much smaller ones. And the common theme there is where innovation is involved, there is often a real passion for finding solutions, not just technical interest, but really a passion for doing things better, doing things safer, saving money, and doing all the things that help organizations to grow and be successful. So I'm very passionate about operations, maintenance, keeping people safe, being innovative in everything that you do. And I think the EarlyBirds platform has a lot to offer in that space in particular. So maybe we'll move to the first slide. Thanks, Chris. So what we did here was we've got a few slides. We've selected a few areas that we think are relevant to the O&M and the FM sector. But by taking a step back, we said, okay, well, there's a lot of technology out there and a lot of solutions. They can all be utilized, and depending on the area of focus within your organization, whether that be finance right through to hands-on operations, or heating and ventilation systems, or whatever area you're interested in, there's a lot of technology. And hopefully through this presentation, we'll demonstrate that EarlyBirds has a very broad footprint across many different sectors. But when we look at the factors that impact on innovation and technology selection, it often comes down to these 6 areas. So clearly, capital investment and operational costs are right at the top of the list. Availability of data, that's really important as we look at implementation. And some ideas are great, but if we don't have the data to support those decisions, that can increase the risk profile. So the analytics capability, so you've got the data, but what capability do you have to analyze that data? Obviously, keeping people safe is got to be a key consideration, and care for the environment as well more broadly. So automation of repetitive tasks, there are opportunities there to bring in innovation, and the overall sustainability of the solution, not just environmental, but much more broadly, can the solution sustain the business for 3, 5, 10 years and even longer horizons? So they're just some of the considerations. If we go to the next slide, what we've tried to do here is pick 5 areas that, there are time limitations. So we've selected 5 that we think are good examples of where technologies are currently, there's active innovation, and there are platforms that are really having an impact in the O&M and the facilities management sectors. So we'll start with digital twins, the alignment of physical facilities with a digital twin office space, reducing travel time and costs associated with being, physically at a facility. We then thought inspection, clearly there's a lot of tech around ROV and drones, and what we see in the energy sector and more broadly across many sectors is that, there's a growing acceptance of drone technology and remote operated vehicles. And that's really a fantastic area to innovate as well. Biometrics, there's a lot going on in this space also, monitoring, identification, performance, safety, security, and the general well-being of workers. So we've got some information there around what that looks like. Training and competency, so certainly what we see in projects that I've worked on is a move to more contingent workforce. It requires a different approach to the traditional management processes around training and competency. And then lastly, we thought we should look at alternative energy. And so there's a lot going on in the clean tech, green tech space. And, we see a lot of energy providers and oil and gas operators using alternative power sources just to reduce their own OPEX and maintenance costs in general, and looking at different ways of bringing energy to their own facilities, right, while producing the continuing to produce precious commodities that are being produced. And that's right across mining, oil and gas and other sectors. So digital twinning, look, this means a different thing to different people very often. And it's important that when you set out on a journey to develop a digital twin, whether it's for a new asset or for an existing asset that's been operating successfully for 20 years or more, that you really sit down and work out what does the digital twin need to do, what are the objectives of this process, because there's a lot around spatial data, around operational data, and lots of information available. So getting clarity, and that's where certainly EarlyBirds and some of our expert consultants like Seren can assist in getting that clarity early on before embarking on a project like this. What you'd find within the EarlyBirds platform is there are a number of technology providers, but they all provide slightly different things. So from smart design and strong 3D modeling capability through to data analysis and artificial intelligence even. So the key to successful digital version, complete, comprehensive, as inclusive as possible of all the disciplines, so it mirrors the physical version. A lot of innovators continuously evolve the digital twin technologies and make the physical asset more and more, the digital asset, I should say, more and more realistic. But it's important, as I say, when embarking on this journey, that you be very clear about what the objectives are. And I think EarlyBirds has a lot to offer in this space. In inspection, I think I could speak for days on this topic. There is a lot going on in the inspection space, from drone technology and obviously underwater remote operated vehicle technology. It's advanced significantly over the last decade or so and becoming really almost, well, not quite mainstream, but there are challenges. There are challenges with acceptance in some more traditional operating and maintenance environments. There's risk to be managed, but what we see globally is that there are breakthroughs, and so there are great examples that we can provide further down the track on offshore and onshore fixed and floating facilities. A lot of innovators are offering advanced ROV and drone technology with additional, bolt-on inspection and even intervention capability. There are companies around that could certainly provide strong underwater, including things like chemical injection to offshore subsea wells. There is a lot of tech available, and EarlyBirds is a great starting point on that journey to identify those technologies that will help in your overall journey. So a lot of this, I come from oil and gas and the energy sector more broadly, but we do see a lot of these technologies being brought into other sectors such as ports, harbours, general infrastructure, the mining sector and others. People in oil and gas over the years have been very innovative and have often had that, which is what you need when you're going on an innovation journey, that spirit of adventure and their willingness to take on challenges. And I think the energy sector more broadly has always demonstrated that. So I might hand it over to Seren right there to take you through the next few slides and some of the other use cases. Okay, thanks, Seren.
Right, thanks, Joe. Yeah, so following on from the two themes that Joe spoke about, the next theme that we can see taking off in a big way is biometrics. Biometrics is a fairly broad term. It's currently used for identification of personnel, controlling access to facilities. It's a big deal in the facilities management area, recording of employee attendance, and that's done in facilities as well as plant operations, where you have workers clocking in and clocking out, similarly in office type atmosphere as well. But the big area of growth we see is really in the monitoring and keeping track of employees' health and safety while potentially out in hazardous facilities or areas. Various types of biometrics capabilities out there, and there are many innovators focused on these areas. Fingerprint technology, iris, facial recognition, voice recognition, wrist monitors, and sort of armband type monitors, focusing on the health and well-being, and that's sort of an area that's taking off in the biometrics area. So the important point is that there are many innovators out there in the innovation space, continuously innovating new solutions, and the EarlyBirds platform provides an opportunity to keep track of all the new innovations in this area. So the next theme that we saw was really training and competency. What's the trend that is happening in the O&M area specifically is that employers are unable to keep full-time employees due to the continuing peaks and troughs of the O&M resource requirements. You could have a shutdown and you need a peak of people to go in there and get the job done. Again, you could have a construction activity in a facility where you have a peak of workers going in there. Turnarounds, another example. So, in most of these cases where the plant operators or the employers currently have registers and databases of training and competency records, it's a costly exercise to keep these current, especially if the workforce is, not constant, up and down. So there's a move towards keeping these records centralized and palming off the responsibility for keeping the records current, being given back to the employees. There are example tools that are available on the internet, service providers out there who will basically manage it on behalf of employees. So it's almost like an outsourcing of the management of the training and competency. The responsibility is still with the organization that's operating a plant or a facility, but the requirement is really with the employee to make sure that the training is kept current, and when they go in for work on the day of the job, they are able to prove that they have the training and competency records in place. Again, there are many innovators continuously evolving and developing more and more tools in this area. There are smart tools continuously sort of growing with specifics, competency-based verticals, or in some cases, general, linked to sectors and so on. Again, oil and gas and the O&M industry took the lead in this digital transition, but it's starting to move into many other areas. Again, EarlyBirds Marketplace has access to many of these innovators. So the last of the 5 themes that Joe mentioned is really the move to alternate energy. So there is anytime you read the newspapers or watch the news or anything, there is a lot of information going on energy transition. And a lot of countries that have had downturns during COVID are reinvesting money back into their countries, and they're looking at energy transition and the move to renewable energy as a method for sort of rebuilding their countries' economies. And because with the ultimate aim of Paris Agreement around the corner, and the energy transition is sort of it's happening now. So the options for energy transition, solar, wind, hydrogen, green hydrogen, blue hydrogen, battery technology, waste to energy. There's a lot of things out there, and there's a lot of innovators on the platform that are focused on that. And obviously, moving to alternate energies can reduce OPEX and also reduce the greenhouse gas emitted into the atmosphere. So recently, Joe and I produced a paper on Insights paper on demonstrating how EarlyBirds can help kickstart innovation in the hydrogen space. So there's, as Joe and Jeff both mentioned, there's a the platform has got a broad scope, and it has potential to look at specifics at the same time looking at a broad area. So okay, we had 5 themes. So we went in and had a look at the EarlyBird platform just to get a feel for the themes. So taking a step back, just doing a search by operations and maintenance, you come up with 73 service providers and product providers associated with ops and maintenance. Similarly, facilities management, we've got a bunch of hits. So at a high level, so there are many innovators focused in these sectors. And then looking at the 5 themes that we mentioned: digital twin, biometrics, training competency, drones and ROVs, alternate energy, with subgroups, clean energy, alternate energy is a big area. So, we just looked at a couple of subgroups. We got a significant number of hits on the platform. So it clearly shows that, the EarlyBirds platform provides opportunities for finding innovators in these key themes or growing areas of tech innovation associated with O&M and facilities management. So the question is, are companies in the O&M and F&M industry embracing innovation? Obviously, the take-up of innovation technologies varies across industry sectors and to an extent across geographies and countries as well. The pressures on companies to be more efficient and use tech is sort of growing, and the short answer is yes. In complex plants and facilities, there's a lot of management of change required to transition to technology, but it's often worth the effort. So it's a journey that leadership has to commit to and take the entire organization along with them in this change process. So there are other drivers as well, in addition to cost, corporate social responsibility, and so on. So there is this move towards use of innovative technologies. So how should they adopt innovation? Cost factor, we mentioned, is a key, but it's all about using these emerging technologies to ultimately extend the life of the assets and enhance overall safety. The example of the training records, etc. You're looking at the people who are working there, their safety, the biometrics, and all the examples that we spoke about basically help extend the life of the asset, especially the one that Joe spoke about, which is the digital twin. A lot of organizations are going through and building a digital twin, which is a very costly exercise, but it's still worth the effort. Obviously, if you're building a greenfield plant, you get it right, maximize like Sulaiman said, yes, that is current technology. People are using 3D modeling to design their plants. But the key to a digital twin is to keep that model current and use it and minimize the human interface. So in conclusion, really, the use of platforms such as EarlyBird Marketplace will help companies in the O&M and FM space to identify appropriate tech and improve the efficiency and sustainability of their business. You can move to the next slide, Chris. I think it's...
Yeah, thank you, Suren.
Over to you.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for staying in tune with us. Really appreciate that. My name is Chris Poria. I'm one of the co-founder, along with Jeff, for EarlyBirds. So we just wanted to start quickly here to introduce you to EarlyBirds, to just give you a little bit of background, why we started and what's our journey so far. So just listen to this video.
Every great organization has a great story behind its origin. The idea for EarlyBirds was created when Chris Poria, one of our co-founders, was working for a large systems integrator on a significant project that needed a solution to manage a multi-cloud environment. The company Jeff Penrose, our other co-founder, was working with at the time, had a multi-cloud management solution that was fit for purpose. Following a number of positive meetings with Chris's tech team, architects, and other stakeholders, it all looked positive, but they could not get approval from their head office. The system integrator Chris was working for decided to build a solution in-house and not use the startup's disruptive off-the-shelf solution. In the end, there were no winners. The customer got a bespoke solution, probably with more risk and cost. The system integrator missed the opportunity to provide a prompt value for money solution to the customer, while the local startup missed a great opportunity to gain a customer reference, build skills, and create employment. Chris and Jeff then got together as they thought something should be done about this situation. Initially, they considered providing business development and sales as a service to 6 to 8 local startups and scale-ups. However, the more they researched tech innovators and early adopters, they realized this approach would not scale as the problem was much larger. In fact, it is a global problem. Chris and Jeff then decided to build a platform to link tech innovators, startups, and scale-ups with early adopter customers, private and public sector organizations. As part of the platform, innovators can list their offering with a price, upload collateral, and use the online sales contract if they do not have one. Early adopters can list a challenge and publish their innovation business and technical requirements. In the early stages, the co-founders spent a lot of time interacting with many tech incubators and accelerators in Australia and globally. They found the EarlyBirds business model and platform to be highly complementary to the excellent work accelerators undertake with innovators. EarlyBirds platform launched in September 2019. Whilst market testing the business model and platform during late 2019, some early adopters advised they could not list their challenges due to commercial sensitivities or security concerns. To overcome this, the co-founders, in consultation with potential customers, created a third pillar to the EarlyBirds platform. This is a services component with subject matter expert, independent consultants who are available to work with early adopters to define and resolve their business challenges. They also created 2 programs called Explorer and Challenger. The Explorer program is designed for businesses needing innovation as a service to supplement existing innovation programs or to conduct innovation projects as required. The Challenger program is designed to solve one early adopter business challenge at a time, then search for relevant innovators that meet the business, technical, commercial, and business risk requirements. The early adopter can evaluate the selected innovators, then an agreed roadmap is published for the way forward. These programs dramatically shorten the innovation lifecycle, where organizations in the past might be creating solutions and be unaware as to what is available in the market. Now, with the EarlyBirds platform, organizations can find and engage with innovators that already have potential solutions to their business challenges. EarlyBirds Marketplace turned into an open innovation ecosystem with 3 key pillars: innovators, early adopters, and SME consultants. After launching the platform in September 2019, the rest is history. As EarlyBirds started getting traction in the market, SMEs started joining. The big data pool has provided access to over 1 million innovators, and our executives and advisory board team started to expand. Please check the latest statistics about EarlyBirds on the platform.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. So this diagram gives you a summary of our, what we call it, a open innovation framework that allows you to basically shortcut and accelerate your innovation using this framework. So basically, as part of the framework, we have which is early adopter companies, organizations who are looking for innovations. And then we have innovators, which is our startups, scale-ups, and mature organizations who already have some innovations that you can use to solve your business challenges. And the third pillar, we have our subject matter expert consultants who are experts in those specific industry sectors. For example, today you have seen Suren, who got expertise in specifically in energy space, for example. So we have, all those three key pillars come together to deliver business outcomes for you as part of this model. So what we have been hearing from different organizations when we have been talking to them, that it's not one thing that is stopping them to achieve their goals. There are multiple challenges depending on which part of the business you are in. For example, technology teams, their problem is how can they quickly and get solution in time or quickly enough so that they can make that change to meet the customer requirements. Similarly, innovation teams are difficult to find actionable innovation that they can provide to their business to meet their vision requirements. Similarly, procurement teams, their key issues is time and cost to procure those solutions. And similarly for the product teams, how they can, either they have to design something in-house or they can reuse something which is available out of the box. So we got, different teams giving us different feedback in terms of, how they can quickly meet their requirements in terms of achieving their business goals. Given that we have very limited time, I'm not going to spend too much of time on this, but at a high level, we are providing, so EarlyBirds is offering kind of two capabilities. One is where it's self-service, where you can go on the platform, you can search, you can list, you can buy, sell your innovation or services, or monitor your different innovations or challenges in the industry sector you are in. And the second part is our subject matter expert assisted innovation programs. In the video, we talked about Explorer and Challenger programs. I'm going to talk about that very quickly. In terms of the subscription, which is our self-service option, we provide individual licenses or for the subscription, but then also we provide organization license for your organization to use the platform through which you can do various things. Of course, you can list, search innovations, but then also you can list or search those global innovators we have. For example, we literally had 1 million innovators approximately 2 or 3 months back. Within this time frame, we have gone to 1.1. So we have increased by 10% in last quarter. So we have been evolving and constantly working on that, updating those innovators every day. So you can get access to that, for example, as part of the subscription that you go for. And then on the top of that, our assisted programs. So we talked about Challenger program, for example, on the right side. So Challenger program is, we try to do it, number one, short, sharp, fixed fee, where we will take one business challenge at a time. Our SME consultant will work with you and define that challenge, bring that challenge back to the platform. We help our SME to identify potential innovators. They work with those innovators and then most probably bring the shortlisted innovators back to you and work with you and identify potential next steps based on that engagement. It could be a proof of concept, it could be a pilot, for example. So it's a very short, sharp piece of work, each challenge at a time. On the other hand, on the left side, you will see Explorer program. So Explorer program, we got two kind of part of the Explorer program. One is what we call it regular Explorer program, where you can just go for an enterprise subscription for the whole platform. That means you, across your organization, anybody can use the platform. But then we got a custom program, which is basically where we not only provide you the access to the platform enterprise-wide, but then also we provide a expert, subject matter expert aligned to your organization. And then that SME expert will work with your organization to identify those potential opportunities, potential challenges across different business functions, depending on where you want us to focus, and then bring those business opportunities and challenges. And then we work out globally, or depending on your requirement, work out who globally is working on those kind of opportunities and challenges, bring those innovators back to you on a regular basis, whether that will be a monthly or a quarterly basis, depending on your appetite, of course, because sometime you might be ready for a monthly kind of innovation days, what we call them. So we bring them to you so that on a regular basis, we provide you that opportunity to identify potential opportunities for innovation and then invest into those appropriately. Of course, then the other advantage of the Explorer program is that we can work with all the different business functions. That means not only the operations, but we can also work with IT, we can work with the procurement, but also we can work with other parts of the business, for example, M&A, where your mergers and acquisitions or corporate strategy team might be thinking, investing in those specific innovators that might be aligned not only to their strategy, but also to other divisions within the business, so that you get most value out of it. Just going through the platform very quickly, I know that Surendra and Joe has talked about some of those statistics. As of today, we got more than 1.1 million innovators on the platform, and you will see that some of those highlighted ones, for example, we got smart cities, more than 1,200 innovators, robotics, 10,000, we got renewable energy, 9,000 plus, network security, machine learning, more than 8,000, IoT, which is Internet of Things, is very, very hot, especially in your sector, more than 11,500 innovators. We got industrial automation, more than 5,000. We got geospatial, which is also relevant for you guys, drones and drones related, even drones management capabilities, for example, more than 2,300, cybersecurity over 7,000, in clean energy and clean tech, more than 3,000, building maintenance, we got more than 1,000 innovators, biometrics, more than 500. Similarly, autonomous vehicles, augmented reality, asset management, for example, we got more than 3,000, and AI, which is artificial intelligence, which is also another one important in your sector, more than 15,000 innovators on the marketplace. Given that we don't have too much of time, so I'll skip the use cases at this stage, but in summary, use case mean that we identify specific challenges. In this case, for example, there might be some drones requirement based on your operational capabilities, and then we search those appropriately within the platform. Here are some examples that we found, more than 2,200 innovators, and then we went into very specifically. So basically, these kind of use cases, the benefits you get is you save a lot of time and cost to solution options. You can focus on understanding the business challenge instead of identifying the solutions, discover and refine potential disruptive solutions quickly through the platform, and engage with those world-leading innovators quickly in time before it's too late. So I'm going to skip some of these use cases and just summarize in terms of how we can help you, basically, starting with transforming with actionable innovation. So we can enable all different business functions, starting from your operations to technology to procurement to all different teams. Basically, you can work together through the platform. We are also working on the next part of our development, that all these teams can also collaborate on the platform, where one team can do their work and then they can share that project with other teams so that they can utilize the work they have done. Of course, this also allows you to create innovation and collaboration culture with these programs and the approach we develop with the open innovation ecosystem. You can, of course, reduce your time to market while reducing your cost, grow revenue opportunities. There are a number of organizations working with us, actually, where they are partnering with different innovators. So what they're looking at is, for example, I'm in this sector, I'm looking for different innovations and innovators that I can partner with and then build my go-to-market with them to quickly capture more revenue opportunities with for my company, as an example. And of course, the other point is exploring strategic investment. As I mentioned, that we can also help, and there are a number of use cases that companies are working with us, identifying those emerging innovators, aligning to their strategy to make investment. So with us, what you can achieve is accelerate innovation and growth, significantly reduce your time and cost to market, and collaborate across the organization. So thank you very much for your time, and I'll hand over to Suleiman now. Suleiman, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chris. I'll make it very quick so we don't run really over time. So at the Union of Arab Banks, where I currently advise, we've endorsed EarlyBirds, not only for for our members to be able to have access to innovations, but rather really to create the next dynamics of the financial sector in the Arab countries. And I think that is quite a good analogy with OmainTech, where member organizations of the council are actually practitioners of O&M and facilities management. And as I early mentioned in my opening remarks, is that every organization, okay, regardless of the industry, must establish an innovation capability one way or the other. The problem is, for everyone, for all of us, really, is that the hype is very high and the noise is very loud, and we need ways to be able to cut through that noise and pick the right innovations for our industries. And that's where EarlyBirds is assisting the Union of Arab Banks, and will also be able to assist the OmainTech ecosystem by accelerating their access to the right innovations. And as O&M organizations, we will be facing the question: do we innovate with emerging technologies ourselves, or do we access innovations that others have developed, and we leverage them into our environments? I think the future is a combination of both. But for you to be able to benefit from, to immediately benefit from cutting edge innovations, you will require access to a platform like EarlyBirds that will connect you with the right innovators, and that will also connect you with the right subject matter experts to assist you in looking for the right innovations to your use cases. So really, it's a matter of creating a dynamics where innovation becomes the language of exchange between different O&M companies, and between O&M companies and tech innovators developing solutions for the O&M domains. A similar thing that we have done at the Union of Arab Banks, we've established the platform to connect innovators working in the space of financial technology, fintech, with banks wanting immediate access to innovations, or also wanting to innovate themselves and promote their innovations to others. So that's quickly how we went about it in the union, and that's still a long journey. I think for the next period of time, and how it can be replicated for the community of operations and maintenance and facilities management within the ecosystem of OmainTech. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Suleiman. And just to summarize, in the next step, it's pretty easy. Just sign up on earlybirds.io. You can book a briefing, reach out to Jeff and myself on these emails. And of course, as I mentioned, that we are here to help accelerate your innovation using our platform or our SME assisted innovation programs. Really appreciate the opportunity, Suleiman. And thank you very much, everybody, listening to us. And I'm sure that we will be available later on virtually if you want to talk to us. So thank you very much.
Yeah, we would like to thank towards this end the ExiCon and OmainTech for offering us the opportunity to to present, EarlyBirds and the use cases and the case studies, and looking forward to working closely with the members of the OmainTech ecosystem to drive their innovation momentum forward.